Hello kids, welcome to Leeds Online School. This is English language form 5 lower. One of the lessons that we have to cover for first term is evaluating a text, which you will find in page number 10 to 15. Okay, let's look at the learning objectives. The first one is to approach a non-fiction text critically, then to recognize fact and opinion and follow an argument, and then to build confidence in responding to a text and to understand how writers use language to influence their readers. So let's see why this lesson is important, why it is important to learn this lesson. So it will help you to prepare for paper 1 section A, which tests your reading and critical skills, and there will be questions on both prepared and unprepared non-fiction reading passage. This will be drawn from a range of contemporary non-fiction, including autobiography, travel writing, reportage, media articles, letters, diary entries, and opinion pieces. So, evaluating a text, a guide. So, let's see what are the guidelines you have to go through when evaluating a text. So, first one is when you read a text, you form an opinion. So that is very normal. Whenever you read a text, you create some kind of an opinion in your head. Then understanding how writers present ideas is key to understanding how text works. So when you form the opinion, the first thing that you have to find out is how writers present their ideas. So this will help you in understanding how the text works. Then you need to be aware of a variety of ways in which writers use language to influence their readers. So, you know, in IGCSE and Excel English, we are supposed to find out techniques that the writers use to form their ideas. So, you have to be aware of the varieties of these techniques to understand the effects of them. Then the devices used tend to be linked to the purpose of the text. So, the devices the writer uses are linked to the purpose of their writing. Then when you read a new piece of non-fiction, you should first try to understand what points are being made. So we have learned what are the guidelines you have to follow when you are evaluating a text. So we are going to go for an activity. So you are given this article in page number 10. It's so over, cool cyber kids abandon social networking sites from The Guardian. So you are asked to read the article taken from the Guardian newspaper. Complete 2 lists. So first one, you have to list the facts used in this article. So what are facts? Facts are the things which are true, and a statement which is true. Clear? So you have to find out the facts and list them and list the opinion. So you should be able to find what is a fact and what is an opinion. So let's read the first paragraph. From uncles wearing skinny jeans to mothers investing in rara skirts and fathers nodding awkwardly along to the latest growing code, the older generations has long known that the surest way to kill a youth trend is to adopt it as its own. The cyber world, it seems, is no exception. The proliferation of parents and teachers trolling the pages of Facebook, trying to poke old school friends and lovers and traversing the outer reaches of MySpace is causing an adolescent exodus from the social networking. So we see that both of them are opinions of the writer, how writer sees it. But besides, once the virtual street corners, pubs and clubs of millions of 15 to 24 years old have now been overrun by 25 to 34 year olds who present in driving their younger peers away. So you see, this is a statistic, at the same time this is a fact. So you should be able to find out what are opinions and what are facts and then list them. And then you are asked, pull out the key arguments of this article and rewrite each point in your own words. So you have to find out key arguments. What are the main arguments the writer puts in? And then you have to write it in your own words. And then you are asked to summarize the article in 5 or 6 key points. I hope this will be easy for you. Then again is also an activity. You are given an article. Social websites harm children's brains from Mail Online. So this is an article taken from Mail Online. So what you're supposed to do is read the article and analyze it using the same steps as in activity 1. So you have to use the same steps that you used in activity 1 to analyze it. What are the similarities and differences in the way that the two articles present ideas? Then you have to go for a comparison. You have to see how the differences and similarities you find when the writers are trying to present their ideas. Then we are going to the other part of the lesson, how writers use language to influence their readers. This is something very important. You have to you look at into their language and you have to see what type of impact the writer tries to make in you, right? Then once you identify the main idea of the text, you should consider whether the article is showing an opinion or bias. So when you find out the main idea, when you read the whole text, you know, you can guess or you can identify what the writer is trying to talk about. Clear? And then once you figure it out, you should consider whether the article is showing an opinion or bias. So you can see, you can check whether the writer of the article is showing an opinion or is biased to some kind of opinion. Clear? Then if the opinion is biased, you should be able to look into use of biased language. You can see biased language. Then use of emotive language. You know what is emotive. So emotive words are used to persuade you all to believe in what the writer wants to communicate. Then stating of opinions as facts. So then the difference that you will see in a biased text is that he will put his opinions as facts. Right? He will try to make the opinions as fact which will look true. Right? Then use of unsupported claims. Then he will write about things which are unsupported, which aren't be proven by any research or anything. Clear? Then you have to look into the given facts. By looking at given facts, you can see whether the opinion is biased or not. Then you have to see whether the writer is forming an argument or not. So you have got an activity. So activity 3, look into activity 3. In activity 3, what you have to do is that picking out key information and recognizing bias. So you have been given 4 sentences. So look back at the 2 articles from the Guardian and Mail Online. In groups, answer the following questions carefully, considering how language has been used. So you are asked to look into the 2 articles given earlier, and then you have to answer these questions. What view of teenagers are given and what are the main arguments raised in each article? So you first of all have to find out the views about teenagers, right? How are facts and opinions used in each article? Then you have to look into how facts and opinions are used. How is scientific research used to put across the main points of view in each article? So normally, a scientific point will be used to support an opinion. So you have to look into whether these 2 articles are using scientific support. What linguistic devices have been used to present the point of view more powerfully in each article? Then you have to look into linguistic devices. That means the techniques the writer uses, the writing techniques the writer uses to present the point of view more powerfully. Whether these techniques are able to make the writer believe in, make the text believe, makes the reader believe in whatever the writer says. Right? I hope it is easy for you. Then you have activity 4, rhetorical devices. Rhetorical devices are often used in text that seek to present a particular point of view or opinion. So we see that. What are rhetorical devices? They are used in text to seek a particular point of view or opinion. Match the following rhetorical devices with the correct example sentences. So they have given you emotive language, personal pronouns, repetition, root of 3 and hyperbole. So you have to match them with the correct example. Then activity 5, writing persuasively. What do you understand when you say writing persuasively? Writing persuasively means you are writing to make somebody believe in you. Right? You persuade that person. You kind of force that person to believe whatever you want to communicate with. So write a letter to persuade an organization to ban the use of animal fur in its production. Include the following rhetorical devices in your letter. You are asked to use direct address, rule of three, emotive language, imperative verbs, repetition, and rhetorical questions. So this will be a tough work because they have already given you the techniques, but I think you should try this. Your letter must be at least 3 paragraphs long and should follow all the conventions of a normal letter. So you know how to write a letter. You have to put the correct address, you have to put the address in the correct place, you have topic, sentence, and the greetings, and the body of the essay, body of the letter. So all of these you have to pay attention to. Then you have got activity 6. This is a huge activity when we compare with whatever we have done earlier. Read the article Myth of the Teenager by Lucy Maddox and answer the questions. So first one, how does Lucy present teenagers in her article? Then your answer should reflect on audience and purpose. Audience as in the readers, which type of audience the writer is aiming the article at, and purpose, what is the purpose of writing this article. Then show a detailed understanding of the article and the points that the writer is making. Then you have to look into the detailed understanding of the article. What are the points the writer is making to prove his argument? Then identify a wide variety of devices used by the writer and analyze the effect in as much detail possible. Then you have to find out the devices, the literary techniques the writer uses to analyze. Then you have to analyze the effect. So why does the writer uses this device? What is the impact the writer wants to create through this device, right? So I hope you are capable of doing this as well. And then use appropriate terminology throughout. So you have to look into your vocabulary as well. So we have come to the end of the presentation. So let's look at what we learned today. We learned how to approach a non-fiction text critically. Then we learned to recognize facts and opinions. Then we learned how writers use language to influence the reader. Okay, my dear kids, this is the end of my presentation. So I hope I was clear to you as I was explaining you how to evaluate a text properly. I hope all these things that we discussed in this presentation was clear to you. See you in another video. Goodbye. Thank you so much.